Hi and welcome to this tutorial on audio editing. This is an important part of this program because this audio editing skill is useful for a lot of people for so many reasons, best known to them, and of course, obvious reasons because of their work. So basically, um, if you're new to Caleb Skills Academy, this is CSA, Caleb Skills Academy, and this study material is provided and prepared by Caleb Skills Academy. Now, my name is Caleb, and I'll be your tutor for this course. Now, I want to, as usual, please, we normally use live notes in CSA. That is, as I'm teaching, as I'm talking, I'll type for you to be able to read the text like as I'm reading it like that. So and it's very good for you. So it's not be like as if you are in a class, which means that you can participate live. Just put your eyes on the screen as you're listening to me. You can also read the text. Now I want to um, introduce us to this course. This course might be like three or four or maybe five videos. I'm not sure how many I'm going to break it into in the end. So this is the introductory part. This is the first lesson in this audio editing skill. Now, what is audio editing actually? Audio editing, you know, let's say can be described as a process of changing parts or working on parts or whole of an audio file. So anything you're doing on an audio file, you're working on it, you're changing it, you're adding something to it. That is editing. You're doing audio editing. It is a little bit different from audio recording, although it's a part of it. So let's talk about what are the activities, all right, activities that mean audio editing or in line or that are in line with uh, audio editing. So let's just go to that now. All right, activities related to audio editing. Okay, so I believe you're following activities related to audio editing. Now, number one is when you're trying to mix or three or let's say two or more audio files together, right? That is called audio mixing. Okay, audio mixing. So what is audio mixing? Let's say you have a voiceover. You have the way I'm talking now. This is just my voice that you're listening to. Now, let's say that I record this voice as an audio itself, and I save it, I export it as an MP3 file. Then you now pick it up, or I pick it, or I pick that audio up, and then I now want to add a background music to it. So that's audio mixing. I'm mixing my voice with an with another music with another audio file, which is a music, a song. So that is it. And you can, of course, you can mix, three, four, five songs. I mean, three, four, five audios. Maybe you want them to come at different parts. Maybe after I have spoken, somebody else will come up and say, "Welcome to CSA," and then you want that to be toward the end. That's like three audio files. You can do that for more than that. Actually, there's no limit to it, but of course, you have to be reasonable with it. But mixing when you mix two audio, when you mix two or more audio files together, is called audio. It's part of audio editing. Another one is when you inserting is a silence to a part of an audio or inserting or when you insert another audio into a part of an audio file. Now, when I say inserting a file, that's you can just simply let's just simply call it insertion. Now, what I mean by inserting is this. Let's say the way I'm talking now, there's a part that you want to be silent. You can also insert a silence. You can insert the silence. You could even insert, you could break a sound into two and put a completely new audio inside of it. So to look as if it's the same when they hear it. It's also kind of audio editing. Another one is cutting, you know, when you're cutting, pasting, copying parts or whole of an audio. It's also called audio editing. That's also part of it. Then let's put full stops on the front of these sentences. Okay, like that. So another part of it, another type of audio editing, is increasing the volume of part or whole of an audio file. Let's end them with an audio file. Maybe the volume of the audio is low, and then you want to increase the volume, you want to reduce the volume. Let's even say increasing the volume of of parts or whole of an audio. When you increase the volume, you're also doing audio editing. That's let's just call it amplification. When you increase or you decrease, you reduce, the volume of an audio file. It's also called, part of audio editing. So I'm going to leave these three parts, these four parts, like this for now, as or there might be others, but these are the ones that I just highlighted for you now. Right. So activities related to audio editing, when you're mixing, we call that audio mixing, insertion, copying, pasting, cutting out, and all that. So let's just give this a name. Let's call it formatting. It's not. It's just a word I'm giving you here, so that we can learn and we can be able to easily understand those functions. So in all, or let's say as listed above, we have identified we have identified four audio editing related tasks, namely number one, audio mixing. I've told you what that means now. You now know what insertion means. Also, you now know what formatting means. And then we talked about amplification. Okay, good. So now you're getting used to the terms that are used, in audio editing, in the field. So we have audio mixing, insertion, formatting, amplification. So these are the functions that are available. So because this is an introductory video, let's talk about general rules of audio editing. General rules of audio editing. Now, these general rules apply to whatever tool you want to use, but actually, I'm going to be talking about a particular audio editing tool that I have found for desktop users, that is very good. So some of the rules I'll be talking about, they'll be general, and some will be only applicable to this particular tool called Audacity. There's a software called Audacity, which we are later going to be going into more proper in the next video. So number one rule that is in there is that you must, let's say, understand you must understand the audio file formats that are supported by your audio editing software. But some support, um, you know, specific kind of files. So you must understand what are the types of files that my audio editing software supports, because you don't want to, it won't give you stress. So there are, there are different kinds of files. There is MP3, there is .mp3, wave, I think there's also MP2, but these are the most common types. The most common types are MP3 and wave. It is video files that you have as MP4, MKV, you have them as FLV, all this like that. But when it comes to audio editing, there are two common types, two common formats, which are MP3 and MP and wave dot wave. Now let me add this at the end. Software, Audacity software contains, or sorry, supports only MP3 and Wave. So this particular software that we'll be using later on supports that. Understand this is the next one now. All right. You should only mix. I've told you about audio mixing. Remember audio mixing when you bring two or more, audio files together. Either they play together at the same time, simultaneously together, or they play one after the other. That is one finishes playing and then the other one comes up after. That's also audio mixing. So you should only mix side. Okay, you should only mix a voice or plain audio file with a music, right? You should only mix a voice or plain audio file with a music to play, you know, at the same time. What I mean is this: you should not mix. Let's now put the other part. All right, you should not mix two music files to play at the same time. You should, not also mix two voice or plain audio files to play at the same time. So what I'm talking about here is the fact that when you want to mix, you want to do audio mixing, and I'm talking about audio mixing now, simultaneously, that kind of thing that plays the same at the same time. Now, what you're going to be having is that you should not mix a voice and a voice. That's a plain audio. There is no music under it. So you have a voice over. If you mix a voice and a voice, it won't be audible. It will be very rough. All right. So you avoid that. So you should only mix a voice with a music file, or a music file with a voice. You shouldn't mix two songs together. It won't make sense. It should be like both of them are playing together at the same time, and of course that will make sense. So note that in that rule. All right. It is it's advised that you use, this is the next one, that you use an earpiece to, when editing your audios. This will help you to get the actual sound condition, more clearly. So you advise to either use an earpiece, on headset, something that will help you get all the sound when you're editing sound, audios. You shouldn't just use your laptop speaker. It's not going to give you, it won't give you the actual sound condition when you're editing your work. You should use an earpiece or an audio, or an headset when you're editing your work. So the fourth rule that I'm going to give you is regarding volume. Now, it is okay. Before we go to the fourth one, let me add something to this. Let me read that number three again so that you can. I want to add something to it. It is advised that you use an earpiece when editing your audios. This will help you to get the actual sound condition more clearly. Or let's just do clearly. This is like tautology here, right? Clearly. Now, when using Audacity software, you you should insert your earpiece or headset before you launch the app, before you launch the software. All right, that is very important, because if you don't do it, Audacity will not accept. If you launch, let's say you've started Audacity now, you start the app, you will see the software in the next video. This is an introduction to the course. So if you start the software, and then after you've started it, you then insert your your earpiece or headset, device to the laptop. Audacity might not recognize it, so you advise that before you launch, you just put your headset so that the software will launch while your headset or earpiece has already been installed. I think you understand that, right? So the next one is this: when increasing, or let's say when working on audio file volume, all right, on, let's use this other one, on, keep your overall volume about 50%. Not too loud for you, because if it is too loud for you and you export it like that, anybody who plays it, when their volume is at maybe 20, it will be very loud, right? But if you keep it at 50%, that is not too loud, you give the person who is playing the sound the liberty to increase it the way they want it, or to reduce the way they want it. Your overall volume should not be too high. So when your overall volume is at 50% and the audio that you are working on is clear and audible, that means it is fine. But if your overall volume while you are using your editing software is at, let's say, 100%, that means your overall volume is on the high side. Now if it's on the high side, it will be giving you a false result, because what you are hearing in your ear is the extreme sound volume, is the extreme sound volume. It's not the actual sound volume, because your overall volume is at 50, is at 100% or 120%. It shouldn't be like that. Your overall volume should be at 50%. So that, I'm just sharing my personal experience. So that when you put it at 50% overall volume, then the sounds themselves, you can then increase their volume when they are low, so that it won't be too blaring in the ear. So put it at a very simple volume, so that whatever you're hearing in your ear can be real. Then also, let me put a bracket here. This applies to Audacity software. Audacity software. Now, when you amplify, there's a tool called Amplify in Audacity. When you amplify, okay, when you amplify, do not increase your gain above 5 to 7. Don't worry, you understand this when we get to Audacity in better format. So when you amplify, there are two volume controls in Audacity. I'm talking about Audacity now. There are two volume controls. There is the amplify. Amplify, you can use amplify to increase the volume of a particular section of an audio. Maybe at the beginning part, You can also use it to reduce the volume of a part of an audio. Then there is the gain. The gain affects everything that is on the track. All right. So the gain affects everything that's on the track. So when you use amplify, you've used amplify. Okay, let's say when you use amplify to increase, it's actually it is to increase. When you use amplify to to increase the volume of a particular of a part of an audio file track, right? Do not increase your gain. Sorry for that spelling error. Do not increase your gain above 5 to 7. Now, this is some of the parts. So I think by now you must have been noticing some words, some expressions, some spellings, and some mixing, cutting, pasting. You're not you're not more a novice. You now have at least what it means to edit sound. Now, it's not hard at all. It's quite simple, and there are lots of tools that are out there. Now, I will not be talking about all the tools that are in the world. There are lots of tools on audio editing, mobile tools, on all these other things, but I'll be talking more about Audacity. So in the next video, we will talk about using Audacity. So that's the software that we're going to be using. In the meantime, I would advise that you simply go to Google. If you go to Google, google.com, just type download Audacity and follow the prompt to get the software. If you don't, because that is the next thing that we're going to go into. So I just type it there, download Audacity. Right? When you put download Audacity like that, it's going to bring out this for you. The first search result, just click on it. Click on the first search result, and then you'll be able to see. You should take you to Audacity website. It's free. It's a free software. That's one of the good things about it. So it's quite good. You should be able to check your system compatibility, the operating system, so that you can use the correct one. This is for Windows. This is for MacBook. This is for Linux operating systems. Uh, so you click on the one that is specifically for your own system, and then your operating system. You should be able to know your operating system. If you don't know your operating system, follow me like this to learn how to know your operating system. Click on your file. Click on your this PC settings. Once you click on this PC on any white area here, right click and select properties. That will take you to where you're going to see your operating system. Some people might not know it. You might not know that you're using Mac, but I think actually that you should know that. So, but in case you don't know, this is Windows. So this particular operating system is Windows that I'm using. So you should use that to know yours. I'm not sure for how MacBook works, but if you're confused with anything, simply go to Google and ask Google for how to know my operating system. You'll get that clearly. All right, so that done. Thank you very much for the video. See you in the next video where we'll talk about Audacity.